Welcome to Radioactive Pancakes. This is John, as always, playing Scrap Mechanic, and we're here today. This is kind of a little group of vehicles. Some more completed than others, but we have basically suspension test. So I've been really wanting to come together with something a little better on suspensions since they released the weld tool a while ago, and so I've been messing around on this one map, and I've got several vehicles, and I guess I'll show them to you. So this is the first one I started out building, and it kind of is it's got my similar theme going, but it's got more of a retro look to it. I like the glass that they provided and how it looks. It's kind of like a jet canopy or aircraft canopy kind of look. So this is my first one messing with suspensions. I built it a while ago, and it's just been sitting here in this world while I've built other things. But as you can see, it's pretty heavy. It's got some wood, but it's also got a lot of steel, and it's got 2 sets of springs per wheel, and I've got it connected down there, so when it flexes, you can see this move, which is interesting. I thought it was, at least, since I hadn't been able to do that before on Scrap Mechanic. I thought that was kind of neat to see that in action and moving. And so, whoops, got too close to that vehicle. I wonder what my frame rate. Okay. So, since this thing's kind of heavy and it's also kind of a retro look, I kind of felt like it was a little bit like something in Fallout, the Fallout series. Just the way it's got this futuristic retro look. So, hood does open, exposing the 2 engines. Canopy, obviously, and then here we go. So I'm not powering it with the engines. It is simply using the boosters right now. Moving pretty quick. Oh, shit. There it went. Didn't last long. Okay. Put that back on there. Get back in. And so this time we'll go ahead and we'll use boosters and engine. Jeez, okay, that was a little out of control. Holy crap. Come on, open up. Alright, it's not opening up. This thing, unfortunately, with the spring set up, it's fine, just normal driving, but when you introduce the boosters and the engines, gets a little bit wacky and out of control. And we're coming up on one of my other test vehicles. We'll be getting to in just a minute. Oh, I just hit it. Oh. Okay. So there you have it. That's my first one. I think it looks pretty cool. Would I drive it all the time? Probably not. I think it'd probably be good for off-roading. We could try that real quick before we switch over to this other vehicle. Why don't we try this? Why don't we go over to like a little hilly area and see how it does. It's got a soft suspension, so you would think it would do well on rugged areas where it's having to flex a lot. Let's go over here. Seems to do okay. Nothing too crazy there. It does want to flip. That's very unfortunate. Whoops. Alright, so we're going to get in this thing. We're going to go drive back over to that one vehicle I just passed. And I will show it to you. Let's find my way back here. Hopefully it won't flip over again. It'd be nice. Okay. There it is. Okay, so this next vehicle, it basically was, I was testing out different things, different angles on suspension, just different. Oh, whoa! Holy crap! Did you see that? Shot me out like crazy when I didn't open the canopy. Okay. Anywho, so I was testing out different things, and this is, you'll see like a later variation of this setup. Get over here. Okay. So you can see here, you can see these bearings that allow this swing arm to push this spring into this mount up here, and it's the same way back here, no difference other than having double tires and wheels. But I noticed when I set it up just like this that it took a lot of weight to get it to actually respond. And at first I just built this rig as just basic, just simply the suspension, there was none of this metal. So I was thinking it wasn't even working. I thought I did something wrong because I could not get the suspension to flex, and then I put some metal all around on it just to test it and dropped it off of the lift, and what do you know, it actually did flex. And so I just added more weight and more weight and more weight until I have this massive bus looking thing to get this to work. So this suspension setup is perfect for really heavy vehicles. So we'll take some bumps here, and you'll get to see it actually flex. So it's quite slow on just the 6 gas engines because I'm basically a giant piece of lead. Come on. Alright, let's turn on the boosters. This will help a little bit. Help it get going. Alright, get this thing up to speed. So, yep, if you watch the suspension, with a single spring on each corner, it literally takes this gigantic piece of lead, this much weight, to get it to actually flex and work. But it rides really great. I mean, you can see that taking these bumps at speed, the guy is barely moving. Not like your typical vehicle where he's just like bouncing up and down and like yelling and stuff. Like if you base it on his mouth and how many times he opens his mouth, this thing rides great. So as you can see, suspension's working, it's doing its thing. You can see the turning bearings in the front are they're glitching out a little bit because of the weight that's on them, so it's causing the tire to kind of go wonky. But this totally works just fine. So if you're looking for a suspension setup for a really heavy, big, like maybe a building that you want to drive around or something like that, this is perfect. So let's slow this thing down, and we'll park it there. Good enough. That is my motorized piece of lead. We'll just call it that. How about that? And alright, so next up, so the third thing I was testing, which you can see remnants of crap I was testing like here, it just didn't go very well. So this was just a simple test. I'd put this together, this setup, and as you can see, it works, but it's really funky how it flexes. Like, just, I mean, it works. I'll give it that. So yeah, I'm still, so that was on my pursuit of finding different ways to do this. So then my next setup was over here, and was trying some other things out, and basically it was a rig that I raised up eventually and then added lead under to add some more weight to it. And so this is that. So not too crazy special, but it does work, and it's very, it turns on a dime, like, I mean, just no problem at all. So That's one. But then my last vehicle that I actually put together, I like the suspension enough that I thought I would make it glass, a glass body, so you could see everything in action while it's working. Another strange thing you'll notice on this vehicle is the wood. The wood pattern, typically when you build a vehicle this direction, these grain and these lines will run this to this way. But instead they're running up and down. And it wasn't that way to begin with, but in my pursuit of finding my other vehicle earlier, I drove it towards the other vehicle and I thought, I don't really want to find the other vehicle and then have to walk back. Instead, I'll drive to it and I will weld it to the other vehicle and then drive them back together while they're attached. Well, I attached this to that retro Fallout type vehicle because it's heavy duty and it carried this whole thing on top of it, but I attached it wrong and it was like pointing straight up in the air. So it was like the front end was straight up in the air like a rocket and it was attached to the top of it. Well, when I unattached it, when I broke the pieces off that I welded to it on the back here, it changed the design of this entire thing to the other direction. And at the same time, if I do this, it tries to put the vehicle up and straight up and down, which is kind of annoying. So don't do that. That's my advice for you. So anyway, back to the vehicle. Setup is got a swing arm on the bottom like that heavy duty one, a single sport spring instead of the long travel one, and it has the same shape design up here, which isn't allowed to move. And so I also had to, it's hard to show, I had to put another bearing that would allow the wheels to be adjustable on the camber. So and then as well, I also changed it so that I can, gosh, I wish I could get this on a lift, but now I'm afraid to because it will go the wrong direction. Damn it. So I have a couple of things that are interesting. I have this that slides the wheel at an angle, 15-degree angle, and allows it so that when you're in the vehicle and you turn the wheel, instead of it just being the normal turn, it's actually trying to think of the correct term for it, but it's basically the angle that the tire comes at is different, so that helps the handling as well. So either way, here we go. I'm gonna drive this thing, stop talking about it, and you can see through the vehicle, you can see the suspension working, and I really like this. It's not, I don't know, I've seen a lot of different suspensions, a lot of them very basic. This one has a lot more to it. I wouldn't say it's ultra complicated, but it does take quite a bit of time to put all four corners together. It's kind of a pain in the butt to weld all the pieces in the correct order, but it was a lot of trial and error and it worked. But I really like how it works. It's got really good flex. The small bumps, it just eats right up. The big ones, I get good air on them. Doesn't run as good as my motorized piece of lead, I would say, but this weighs a lot less. I think I know what I was looking for. Caster angle. That is what I was referring to. When you turn the wheels and you have it, you can see I've got a caster angle going at 15 degrees. So that helps the steering and handling. You can see that as I'm coming off of that edge there. So I do have a tad bit of camber set up, which I had to do because of the way the suspension works. But look at that flex. So I'm getting some lower frame rates out of nowhere here. Apologize for that. So yeah, when you gun it, you can see my tires get positive camber in the front because of how I have it set. But when it lands, it comes back down to either 0 or a little bit negative when it's on the ground. So it does look a little bit odd as it's going along and landing. It is pretty quick. It's got one single motor in it. Turned all the way up. It's pretty darn fast for a single motor. Whee! Got lights on it just for the fun of it. I've got, you know, painted on tail lamps on it. Make it look more realistic. A little spoiler going on, a bumper. Originally I was just gonna make this into like a car, but I really like the idea of seeing the suspension in action because it is a cool suspension. If you like this or you disagree and you think it's terrible, comment below. Let me know what you think about this suspension setup. This is my favorite so far. I think of all the other test bed vehicles I have, I think that the heavy giant lead one's pretty cool for the fact that you can actually have a suspension that can handle that sort of weight with a single spring. I think that's cool. The Fallout style vehicle, it looks cool to me, but I wouldn't drive it a bunch just because it rolls over easy. I think I could probably change that and redo the suspension to something like this. And then the other vehicle over there, just really a test. It was kind of like a precursor to this setup. But yeah, this is my favorite one so far of all the vehicles. If I had the time, I would convert all my trucks and other things to use this style suspension because it really does work well. I've been looking for something to replace the trophy truck suspension with since the weld tool update. I don't know if this will work still because it doesn't have the long travel I was looking for. It works decent, but yeah, it doesn't have the huge travel. So I could possibly do the same thing with a swing arm, but use multiple springs on it. I think that's definitely a possibility I'll have to try out. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and this was my suspension update. So stay tuned, and we'll have more videos coming your way, and see you next time. Yes, if you're watching, we do know how to say Luigi. We just like calling it Luigi.
Luigi! Talking Luigi.
Oh, you would.
Did I get you?
Yes.
That's amazing!
Damn it.
Oh, I'm so excited. I never hit people with my backward shell, especially a green one. I meant to do it, but...
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, bitch! I got nommed.
Alright. Man, everybody's going
Oh,
past
I
me.
hit a wall.
Alright,
Oh
good.
no, Loogie! Oh
Yes!
no, you!
Yes!
No! Oh, there's Lemmy! You got him with your honky thing.
Hell yeah. Don't mess with honkies. Mess with honkies, you get the horn. Wow, where else does that joke work?
Oh,
someone's gonna get you.
Oh shit! Oh, Dinky King! Oh, there's Loogie! Love that I can
Stanky King.
Dinky King.
Stanky King. Alright, I got a good lead on everybody. See if I can keep it. Good enough. You don't see me that close.
I'm in third.
You're way back. Take that banana. Yeah, right there. I got it. It's mine. You better get second. Get it. Get that second. Oh no! You didn't get it.
No.
Oh.
Well, I threw the thing because Dinky King went ahead of me.
Hey, look at that.
And then I threw the red shell to hit him, and then it wound up hitting you.
You're still second. That's pretty good.
I need to get first on this next race.
Then how would I get first? I mean, I can't.
wouldn't.
We can't both have first. I mean.